Everybody see my... I can't see the chat box, so if anybody can unmute themselves and speak, it's all right. Don't feel shy. Okay. So, first of all, welcome everyone to this webinar. I'll be speaking on securing admission to international LLM programs. And I'm so grateful that all of you took time on a Sunday afternoon and joined the session. It shows that you all are very dedicated towards your journey to secure an admission in a good university for LLM. So very grateful for all of you to join. And I hope that you can take away something from this session today and I'm able to help you with your journey, LLM journey, or your career journey as well, whatever questions you might have. So before I start, I'll be bifurcating the time 30 minutes. So you can also drop in your questions in between the session. And what I'll do is I'll take them up in the end of the session. And you can definitely put in whatever queries you have. Of course, I'll not be able to see as I'll be speaking, but I'll definitely answer every question that you might raise. And even if we run short of the time, I'll definitely email you personally or whatever the case might be, or we already have a WhatsApp group now. So maybe you can drop in your queries there and everyone can have access to the answers. Okay. So I thought that it's fair enough that I make a slide about me, because I'm sure a lot of you are new faces and you don't know who's the speaker. So I thought I'll just quickly introduce myself. So my name is Aarushi Relan. I have done my LLM recently from University of Cambridge. My designation is Intellectual Property, Information and Technology Laws, in which I specialized. I've also formally studied in Amity University and I was silver medalist for my program, BCom LLB Honors. I have also worked for 4 to 5 years in intellectual property boutique firms and tier one law firms. And I also have a research experience as a law researcher in Delhi High Court. So I've also edited and co-authored as well for multiple international and national journals and books. And I've also mentored 10 to 15 students or juniors. And one of the students that I mentored last year was able to secure admission in University of Cambridge. So I hope I see a lot of you also going to good universities, and I'll proudly say that I mentored the student and he or she landed up in Oxford, Cambridge, Harvard, wherever you guys go. I'll be very, very happy to assist you with your journeys. So first and the foremost thing that we need to ask ourselves when we are joining this session is whether international LLM is a good fit for you or not. So I do feel that a lot of people do LLM because they see their seniors doing it, they see their batchmates doing it. I do feel that it is I don't know how this was created. I'm so sorry. Can everybody see this markup? Do you know how to remove it? Is there anybody from the admin? Okay, great, it's gone. Okay. So as I was saying, that a lot of us don't know why we should be doing LLM, but I do feel that one of the key reasons why one should be pursuing LLM is whether they want to academically enrich themselves, they want to educate themselves academically, if they have plans to do PhD, because LLM, unlike MBA, is a very academic degree. So if you feel that if I pursue an LLM right after LLB, I'll be able to secure a better salary or position in law firm, I'm so sorry to break your bubble, but that's not true, because what happens is that LLM abroad actually just helps you enriching your academic experience, but it would not help you really if you plan to come back to India. It will not really help you secure a higher salary than your peers, because you will definitely be a fresher just with a master's degree. So why you essentially do LLM is because you want to network, is also because you want to uh, have a global exposure, is also because you want to specialize in a key aspect of law which you could not otherwise have studied in your LLB. Like if you feel that you want to study more about IPR, which was already taught but not in a huge depth, then you can definitely study. Can everybody see this, or is it just me? Can somebody,
Sorry,
can you see somebody creating some sort of mess in the slides, or is it just me? You can also see it, right? I think there's somebody who's trying to spam. It's fine. Oh, okay. All right. I'm so sorry. I'll just say whatever I was saying. So, if you want to specialize in a certain aspect of law as well, you can pursue an LLM degree, or you want to go to academia side of things, or you want to explore a career internationally. If you feel that you don't want to, pursue your career further in India and you want to transit to a different jurisdiction, then I do feel that LLM, international LLM, is a good fit for you. Or you want to enter policy work, so if you enter policy work, then of course LLM is a great fit for you as well, because all of these international organizations like United Nations and all of the sub-organizations within it like WIPO, WTO, UNICEF, all of these look for somebody who has done an LLM or some sort of master in public policy or whatever. Um, and if you're the right candidate, they definitely take you up for internships. And then after you secure an internship, then you can definitely work as a policymaker or sort of a spokesperson for them. So if all of these things align with you, then you're the right fit to pursue an international LLM for sure. That is the step one. So what I've done throughout the slides is I've bifurcated every step on the basis of which you can decide whether you're the right fit for LLM journey or not. And I do feel that if somebody, when I was trying to, create my own applications, if somebody could have just bifurcated all of these steps for me, I would not have been so lost. So it's just some sort of master plan for everybody to look back at, and I'll definitely share the slide deck with everyone so that when they are preparing for their LLM journey, they can just look at the steps and consider what has to be done at what step. Okay. So the second step is that if you feel that you're the right fit for your LLM journey, then you have to research for the ideal academic institution and jurisdiction. So this is a very key aspect because India teaches us common law. So a lot of Indian advocates try their luck in if they want to go for international LLM, they try their luck as a practicing advocate in either UK or Australia or Canada, because all of these are common law jurisdictions. So if you feel that it's something you already studied in common law aspects and you want to slightly study something similar in different jurisdictions, then I do feel that UK is a good fit for you, because common law transition is very easy, especially if you want to study, say, human rights is your specialization, then you should consider UK. But if you want to study, say, technology laws and progressive laws, then I think US is a great fit. But I do feel that due, due to the current geopolitical situations which are happening, US is not really, I would say, a lot of people are not applying there for master's program, but I do feel that the job market will be better by 2027. So if somebody is looking forward to apply by then, maybe you can apply in US for, say, technology laws, entertainment laws. Europe is a great fit for studying international policy work. Switzerland is a hub of United Nation headquarters. So you can definitely see different LLM programs which Geneva has to offer. Again, Canada is also a great fit for corporate laws. Australia is a mixture of everything. You can definitely study the universities. I don't have a lot of information about Australia, but I do feel that there are one or two universities which are doing exceptionally well there. University of Adelaide is great there, and I'm sure there are other universities as well which can check up, and I can help you if you need any assistance with that. But if your forte is arbitration, or you want to study arbitration, then Singapore is a great fit. London is a great fit. Geneva is a great fit. So choosing a jurisdiction should always be on the basis of what sort of legal exposure, what sort of specialization you want to study, and whether the teaching style which is taught there, like UK, also has a lot of theoretical, I would say, rather than practical approach to studies. So whether you want to study in that setup, which you already were studying in India, but with an international exposure, then UK might be a great fit. What sort of career outcomes you might want to have, whether you want to settle there, what are the post study work options, like UK right now offers a 2-year post-work visa, and living costs as well. I do feel that US is a little expensive as compared to UK when it comes to living costs. So you can also decide on that basis. And then how do you shortlist the universities? Now, if you're aiming for Oxbridge, so Oxbridge is an amalgamation of Oxford and Cambridge. So if I say Oxbridge, it means both of these universities. If I'm saying Oxbridge, you need to understand the fact that Oxbridge always takes candidates who have been the top 5 to 10% of their class. So definitely you have to shortlist universities on the basis of your LLB score, and you'll have to filter your programs accordingly. I'm sure a lot of you are law students already, so maybe you can work towards your scores so that you're able to, be in the top of your class if you're aiming for Oxford or Cambridge. And you can also prioritize or shortlist universities on the basis of faculties. A lot of students, a lot of candidates also go to different universities if they are attracted to a certain professional who is teaching there, or the scholarship availability, or the location, or the alumni network. So once you're familiarized with the sort of universities you want to shortlist, what you can do is you can create a master document which has the name of all your target universities, and you can filter out application on those bases. So this is something that I created when I was looking for my LLM university, perfect university. What I did was I created a column for university. I created a column for deadline to apply. What is the IELTS or TOEFL, which I'll be speaking about later, and what is the link where I need to go? What are the documents that I require? I'll be discussing all of this in detail. So this sort of document will help you navigate through the universities so that everything is systematic and everything is structured. And it helps you a lot to go back and check which university requires what, because every university has a different requirement. It's not like every university has a set requirement. So if you can see from here itself that Cambridge requires 2 academic references, whereas if I talk about LSE, which I've not mentioned, I think the comment is down there, they require 1 academic reference and 1 professional reference. So there's a lot of difference in the sort of references they ask for. Their IELTS and TOEFL score is also different, the requirement that they require. So everything is very different for every university. So in order to not be confused about the different requirements of the university, what you can do is you can create this master document, which can help you navigate through the process. Okay. So next is, as I already told you, that there are key admission requirements. Every university has a different requirement, but I have navigated through that most of the university need these 5 elements in order for you to be ready with your LLM program. First is a strong academic record. When I say a strong academic record, I'm not saying that you need a 9 CGPA or something like that. Even if you are able to secure somewhere between 7 to 8 CGPA throughout consistently, you are performing well. That also plays a very, very important role. So you don't need to feel that pressure to be in the on the top of your class all the time because you want to do an LLM, but you need to be consistent with your scores. Next is SOP or personal statement, which I'll be speaking about in depth later. Letter of recommendations also I'll be talking later. So this language proficiency test is something that I will cover up right now. So for language proficiency test, you need to either write IELTS or TOEFL. Again, every university has a different requirement, like US university needs TOEFL. But now I feel that IELTS is more globally recognized than TOEFL. So what I recommend is to candidates who want to apply that appear for IELTS other than like TOEFL. Of course, always check which university you're aiming for and check which university asks for what scores. But I do feel that IELTS is somewhat now recognized globally. So if you want to give IELTS way in advance of your journey, you can. But last year when I was applying, I applied without giving my last year in 23. I applied to University of Cambridge without uploading my language proficiency test scores. So it's, I would say, if you're dicey about giving it before, you can as well submit the score later. So it's not like a fixed requirement that you need to have the language score right in front of you for you to apply for LLMs. You can also do it later once you get the letter of uh, confirmation from their end that you have been offered a course there, and then you need to somewhat fulfill different conditions, and language requirement can be one of the conditions that you need to fulfill, which can happen later as well. So if you feel that you want to do the test later and be sure whether you're getting an offer from the university, that's fair enough, because these language proficiency tests also are very costly. So if you want to prepare for IELTS, say if you want to give IELTS, it's somewhere around 17 to 18,000 rupees. So I would say if you want to be in a better position, that whether I'll be getting in or not, you can definitely submit the scores later. And of course, CV or resume, which I'll also be dealing with later. So this is the step third. Okay. So now, as I said, that I'll be talking about SOP. So SOP is an abbreviation for statement of purpose. Okay. So statement of purpose is something which every university asks for you to submit, that why do you want to be in the university? It's sort of a motivation letter, like a cover letter. If you want to apply for a job, say, you anyway tell why you want to apply for the job, what motivates you to. It's very much similar, and you have to tell the college why they should be taking you and what is your motivation to apply for the university. So one of the key requirements is always check for the word limit. Every university, I repeat, every university has a different word limit. I remember LSE has had like 12, I'm sorry, 2,000 word limit. And when I was making an application to New York University, they had a word limit of 1,200 words. So it differs as per the university. What I did was I created a master SOP of 3,000 words or so. And I used to literally copy paste from that when I had to tailor make it for different university. It saved a lot of my time because I was not writing from scratch for every statement of purpose. Okay, so when I talk about SOP, a general structure of SOP has to be to introduce yourself. You have to highlight your law journey. What motivated you to do law? Where did you do your law from? What sort of academic background do you have? Where do you stand academically? What sort of key experiences you had? Where did you intern? What sort of uh, organizations were you part of while you were in your law school? Did you participate in extracurricular activity? What attracted you to law? Everything regarding that. That would be your past, I would say. Then, why are you making an application right now would be your present. So, SOP is past, present, future. It's the basic structure of it. So, present would be why you're making the application to this LLM program. Then you mention the fact that what is drawing you towards this university. So, for this, I always recommend that you check the university's website. Check what are the faculties there. Okay, who's the faculty who's teaching there? And what sort of specialization that university is known for? And what you will be doing in the university. If I say that when I was crafting my SOP for Cambridge, I said that I'll be taking up these courses I want to study because, say, I studied a book of Len Bentley, who's a trademark professor there, and I want to study trademarks from him because I'm a trademark lawyer and I'm very fascinated with his takes in trademark. I've read his journal on history of trademark, and it was very fascinating. So something which personalizes you with the university, which makes the university think that, okay, you've done your homework. You know why you want to be the part of the university, and they would understand that this is something that this university can only offer, because Bentley will not be teaching in London School of Economics or NYU. He's only teaching in Cambridge. So he understands, the university or the admissions office understand the fact that, okay, fine, this person is quite motivated and they do really want to do LLM from here. So you'll have to mention, you'll have to personalize your CV as much as you can. And of course, your future aspirations, where do you see yourself, whether you want to go back to India with whatever laws that you have learned in that developed country. Like for me, I already knew intellectual property. I would not say that I still fully know, I'm still learning the IP laws in India. But I somewhat know IP laws in India, and I wanted to understand the IP laws in a developed state like UK, so that I can study and maybe help Indian laws to bloom in IP sector. So something with regard to what is your future aspiration, or whether you want to maybe transit your career to international ways and you want to work in a law firm there, or you want to contribute, how do you want to contribute to the field, you want to work in policy space. This is how you craft your perfect SOP. So when I say that you have to craft it in a way, paragraph wise, you can definitely bifurcate into more paragraphs, 4 to 5, but you should be clear. You should be very, very clear as to why you are making an application to this university. Okay, so now there are some pro tips for your SOP, which I do feel that a lot of students miss on. You have to be personal specific, as I said, and you have to be structured. Avoid cliches like, since childhood, I wanted to study here. So it's a very general statement. Everybody since childhood want to be part of Oxford or Cambridge or Harvard or NYU. But why do you want to be part of it, and whether you will be a good alumni to be associated with the university, you need to back your answer with that. So you have to avoid a lot of cliches and a generic statements, and you have to show clarity of purpose. Also, one of the things that I notice with candidates is that they avoid writing it themselves. They either use AI these days, or they want to get it written by an education consultant. So just to give you a thumbs up about this, is the problem is that most of these universities like LSE and Cambridge or Oxford, they already have Turnitin, so they can detect whether you have written it through some software or you have written it themselves. They have that developed software, so they run your recipe through those softwares in order to detect whether you have written it yourself or not. So I would say avoid getting any external help as well, because education consultants can write it very generically and it's not personalized at all. Even if you feel that you're not writing it perfectly, you can definitely get it proofread by other professional rather than asking for these education consultant. And also, these universities already mention the fact that if you have written, especially the good universities like LSE, Oxford, Cambridge, they have already mentioned it in their application process that if you have used these education consultants, then you will be disqualified. So I would say avoid at all costs. But there are few universities like Queen's Mary, which take the students with the help of education consultants. So it depends upon the university that you're aiming for. But I'm more than happy to help you all of with getting your SOP proofread also, because I do feel that when I was writing my SOP, I did not have a lot of assistance. So I'll be more than happy to help you guys out if you need any help with it. Okay. Next step is to search for perfect references. So this is a tricky point also, because sometimes we don't understand as law students who should we be giving references as for our application. But I would say choose your referees very well, those who you know. So if there's a professor in your bachelor's degree, even if you feel that professor has just started off their career, they are a visiting faculty or whatever the case might be. But if they know you very well, I would say you can go ahead with them. Any professional who knows you pretty well can help you secure, because they're more or less checking how dedicated you are as a professional, how dedicated you have been as a student as well. So I would say don't think a lot about it and go ahead with people which you trust more than anything. And coordinate with these professionals as much as you can, because a lot of these professionals are very busy people. So, and you need to meet your university deadline as well. So you'll have to ask way in advance about your letter of references. And also, you'll have to select all of these references on the basis of college requirement. Whether your college requires a professional referee, then you'll have to see who all you've interned with so that you can refer somebody from your who has mentored you through your internship journey, or you can definitely refer one of your professors. So what I did was I had two three SOPs actually from my professors back in law school, and I had two professional, two professional letter of recommendations. So I used to choose it as per the university requirement that which reference I should be giving where. And it helps when you have, I'm not saying that have like 5 references, which is too much. I would just say that at least have 3 references. 2 academic, 1 professional also works, or 1 academic and 1 professional also works. But when you're making multiple application, it sometimes is burdensome on the other person to refer you everywhere. So you can just make it alternative, and it'll ease out the burden on the other person as well. And you can definitely provide them guidance point. So a lot of these professionals write the letter of recommendations, at least that what I know is by themselves. But if you want to maybe give them reference point, that you can mention this, I've done this, I've done this. So maybe you can give them the reference pointers as well, so that they can write the same for you. Or maybe you can provide them with a sample, which I've already mentioned in the pro tips. So you can guide your references, you can share what sort of strengths and weaknesses I'm sure you might not be mentioning, but strengths you have, your key achievements, what all future goals you have. You can tell your referees about them, because even if you know them pretty well, they might not know what you want to do with your LLM journey. And you can be in touch with them. Don't bug them a lot, I would say, but you can just send them polite reminders from time to time that this is my deadline and I need to submit my references by this time. And a lot of universities basically send the link to the they just ask for the email address in your application form and the name. So they'll be contacting them privately through their inbox. So basically, you'll have to coordinate that. Please see, university must have sent you an email so that you can upload the letter of recommendation or whatever. So this is how a letter of recommendation process goes. And maybe you can provide them with a draft, sample draft, so that they can see it as a reference point and they can draft it themselves. A lot of referees, at least internationally, they don't share the final draft with students. But what I understand from Indian professors is that they need a draft so that they can just proofread and upload it by themselves. But it differs as per the jurisdiction. In India, professors are quite flexible that way, but I can't say for international professors. Like if I want a reference from my professor from Cambridge, then I'll definitely, I would never know what he's mentioning about me. So I'll have to give him all of these pointers. Okay. So, of course, before you share the sample with them, get it proofread. But the referee should ideally write the final letters on their own words. Otherwise, the university might already know. Okay. So, step 5 would be to work on building your profile. So if you already know that after a year or so I'll be making an application for LLM, how can you make yourself stand out from other candidates is you can work on your research publications, you can start mooting and maybe do legal writing. You can act as a, if you're a shy person, you don't want to speak, you can work as a researcher in moot courts as well. There are a lot of ample amount of opportunities out there. You can take up editorial roles, you can intern, you can do legal research at different ministries in India. And you can also engage in extracurricular activities by organizing moot court competitions, organizing different sort of quiz competition, parliamentary debates, Model United Nation, any sort of, it doesn't really matter that you have to be a president in some community, or you have to be at a very high post. You can be in any post, just foresee anything and be part of any committee, but engage and collect a certificate so that you can show or prove that you have been part of extracurricular activities. So that's how you can build your strong profile already if you're in law school. But if you've already done your law school and you're a working professional, then also I would recommend that start writing research papers, or if not research paper, just blogs. You can create your own blog, you can write on LinkedIn, and maybe you can also, start doing speaking assignments, speak at webinars, which can actually show that you are a professional who is working towards growth. Okay. So now I have not covered CV or resume individually, but there are some pro tips which I have for resume. So now I see that a lot of people use unstructured resumes. What I feel a lot of people miss on is that you always have to follow the university guided resume or CV. So all of these universities already have their set standards of CV. Like I do know that Cambridge and Harvard at least have uploaded in their websites itself that what sort of academic or professional CV they look for. And I've attached the links of these resumes already in this slide deck. So you can have a look at those links in the comments. So that you guys are able to follow through that what is the perfect format of CV or resume. Once you get that format, then you can build your CV accordingly. It'll help you a lot and you'll understand what CV format these universities are looking for. Please keep it concise because we are lawyers. Avoid using a lot of colors or graphic fonts. Keep it simple. Lawyer CV is always very simple and it's not at all like my sister's an architect. She has a very fancy CV, but for lawyers, at least we like to keep our CV very simple and very to the point. You can draft your CV as simple as that. Don't be very fancy with it. I know a lot of people also use Canva and other things to build CV, but at least for these application process, I would say don't use all of that. Focus on relevance, be specific to the point, and proofread always. Your CV should be proofread. Also, don't repeat the words, like organize. You don't have to say again and again, or you don't have to repeat certain key words again and again. There's always a replacement. And I saw in, I think in Harvard at least, Harvard already has all of these words replaced for itself. Like you can say acted, something, search for synonyms and use the words interchangeably. Do not repeat words in your CVs. Okay, sixth point is actually scholarship and funding, because if you understand, all of these LLM programs are very, very costly. They are not, I would say, not at all as per the Indian LLMs at least. A lot of Indian students look for scholarship funding. So name some of the scholarships that you can look for, research on, and maybe if you need any help with all of these scholarships, you can approach me and I can guide you through. But I really don't want to waste time in this, because this is also a very, very tedious process. But what I understand from scholarship and funding, one thing should be done in advance is that, again, create a master document for these, because these scholarship fundings start way in advance already. So if I say that you are aiming for the 2026-27 intake, so the scholarship funding might start as early in Feb or March, before even, I mean, you'll hear back from the universities. So definitely try and be in advance a lot, all of these scholarships, because you don't want to miss the deadlines. Okay. So here's some pro tips for scholarship already that apply early. So if there's some sort of essay that you need to write, tailor make it as per your story. Some of these scholarships also look for people who need it financially very much. So you need to have a strong story to support it, and what sort of impact you're going to create afterwards. It's not necessarily the case. Some students do get it on the merit basis as well. So don't lose hope. But the problem with scholarships is that it's a very, very rare occurrence. Almost, if 100 people are making an application, as less as 5 to 6 people land up with scholarships. So always have a very strong application. For scholarships as well, you'll need separate references. So make sure that you have them and check eligibility. So if you see Rhodes Scholarship here, Rhodes Scholarship only gives scholarship to students who are within the age bracket of 18 to 25 years. So if you apply as a professional to this scholarship, maybe you'll not be eligible on your age basis. So always check eligibility. And don't limit yourself, of course. If you make an application to one scholarship, you might not land up. You'll have to make maybe application to all of these multiple scholarships. Okay. So next step is, what is your application strategy? Of course, if you're aiming for 26 to 27 intake, you have to start applying early, because all of these document collation is going to take a lot of time. You'll have to also maintain an application calendar. What I did was I used to mark everything in my calendar app, and I used to just be in advance of deadlines or whatever. If you want to create that master document again, you can do that, but you'll have to tailor each application. You cannot use the same strategy for every application, because it is going to differ a lot. Coordinate with your referees. For every university, you'll have to make sure that you have a different referee. So you'll have to coordinate accordingly, and it can be a little, I would say, if you've made multiple applications, say 4 to 5, then it'll be very, very hard for you to coordinate with everyone simultaneously. Stay updated on what is the requirement of the university, because it changes every year. So what was for me, like in my time might be different for you. And of course, keep your all documents ready way in advance. Don't wait for the deadline, I would say, because a lot of these universities start giving offers already on rolling basis. So I think that it's not, I would say, I would not recommend to wait till the last date and then you apply. Rather, apply well in advance so that you can look for other things as well. Like you'll have to look for scholarship funding, you'll have to look for other things as well, like because you will be relocating to a different country altogether. So I recommend that you keep all your documents ready. Okay, once you apply, if you get shortlisted for at least for LLM, there are no interviews because it's more of an internal process. But if you are appearing for scholarship interviews, you'll have to prepare for them, stay updated, always have a backup plan. That's why I would say a lot of people have this thing in their mind that they either want to land in top universities or not apply at all in any other university. But if you're taking that step, always I recommend that apply to multiple universities, but don't be too much of a maniac and apply everywhere, because these universities also take application fee, which is equivalent to 10,000 rupees INR. Like Cambridge took £100, and I think Oxford charges £80 or something. So all of these universities do have very hefty application fees. So be careful about the universities you're shortlisting, and also use the waiting time very productively. Keep on engaging with your work already, whatever you're doing, so that you're not so worked up upon what is happening in my application, because you can get a little impatient through the process. And this point is very, very important, that you need to network with the already set alumnus system. And how you can do it? You can do it by engaging with students who have already studied, and through LinkedIn, definitely. LinkedIn is a very good platform. I have engaged with a lot of professionals who have studied in different universities I wanted to study in, but and also asking them that, do you think my profile is a fit for the college or not, or what should I work on, so that you can work on your strengths already way ahead of your application process. Avoid all of these common mistakes, please. Don't copy paste your SOP everywhere. Don't keep it same. Please tailor make. Sometimes students just don't remove the name, and they're keeping the university name also consistent. So don't make that mistake. Proofread. Don't miss scholarship deadlines if you want to apply for scholarship. And weak formatting of CV, as I already told you, follow the set standards which are already set by all of these universities for CV building, then you'll be fine. Don't miss university deadlines. Sometimes there are certain deadlines which are given by university to maybe apply for their internal scholarships or some sort of document that you require. Don't miss them. And don't choose wrong referees. Sometimes students use the name of wrong referees inadvertently, they don't understand. So please be very, very careful with choosing your referees, and avoid this mistake of over applying, and as well as don't under apply as well. You just have to be okay so that you have something to fall back on. And of course, over reliance on AI and consultants, as I already told you, and incomplete applications as well. Because when you're making the application, the university doesn't check whether you're uploading everything or not. So make sure that you're uploading everything, you're fine. Sometimes we tend to overlook certain things. So I always recommend that run your application through somebody else as well, maybe a mentor, maybe your friends, peers, whoever you trust. Maybe you can make your application run through them, and it helps a lot. Okay, so now we are ready for question and answer round. Does anybody have any question? We don't have any questions? Any question is fine. Don't think that you will be stupid to ask, because I don't feel that any question is a stupid question. So whatever you ask, I feel that maybe somebody else will get to learn something. Okay, I don't think so. We have any questions. Okay, so we do have an announcement to make. I'll wait if you guys have anything to say. But if you don't, I'll just make that announcement quickly. Mhm. Okay. Okay, so we'll be launching a certificate course on. I'm so sorry if I'm sounding like an advertising person, but it's an important announcement, and I'm sure a lot of you can benefit from this, especially if you are also trying to make an application for LLM and you're thinking to maybe write an article or blog and you don't know where to start from. So I'll be conducting a certificate course on legal research. And what you'll learn basically is you'll learn different sort of legal research methodology. You'll get to know how to operate different databases like SEC Online, Manupatra, and also you'll get to learn how to cite different articles, research papers, because I do feel that referencing is something that I've seen candidates, especially who are learning legal research, they are quite avoidant of a perfect citation because I've edited a lot of and maybe peer reviewed a lot of articles as well. So I see that citations is a big problem with students who are learning how to uh, legal research, and also policy briefs and practical research skills, whatever we'll be covering. And if there is something specific that you need to learn, you can definitely DM me. And so this course will be free, which is on certificate course on contract drafting and arbitration. It'll be free for all of those who sign up for the certificate course on legal research. So it is just valid for today. So if you have any further queries or clarification, definitely you can WhatsApp us here, or you can write to us on this email address. And thank you so much for joining us. If you have any specific queries with regard to your LLM process, you can DM me and I see some questions. Okay. So Mansa is asking, ma'am, can we work in that country itself after we study there? Okay, so this is a very good question, I would say. So there's one thing that you should know, Mansa, is that law is very territorial in nature. So what essentially you are doing is you are studying LLM, which is not necessarily a conversion degree. So when I say conversion degree, all of these universities only offer you an academic course, which is LLM. And LLB is something which law firms look for. So you can't work right after you do your LLM, but you'll have to do some sort of conversion. You'll have to appear for their bar exam so that you can maybe work there, or you can do a law conversion degree there. So all of these things, all of these steps you will have to take in order to really work there. But definitely you can work as a paralegal without, because you'll have your LLB degree already. And while you're preparing for your bar exam degree, or your, say, if for UK, there's SQE, that's solicitor qualifying examination. If you're preparing for all of these exams, you can definitely apply for all of these roles. But I'm so sorry, I do not want to paint a false picture. The things are not really, really good right now outside. So, I mean, definitely choose the jurisdiction wisely where you want to go, whether the situation's good there, and research really well about your post-work opportunities before you enter the jurisdiction. This is going to be my answer to your question. But if you want to discuss further, say with specifically with regard to UK, I'm happy to help because I'm also working on it. Okay. Pankhuri has asked that what was the most valuable lesson you learned during your own LLM journey that shaped your career? This is a very, very good question. I feel that one of the most valuable lesson that I learned during my LLM journey was to network as much as we, I mean, as lawyers deny networking can make you reach places. So never underestimate the true essence of networking. Whenever you are in an international forum, you have a lot of responsibility, key responsibilities to say represent your country, to represent the laws, and to also network with the right people so that you can reach right places. So if you're not networking already, I think the key lesson that you can take away from the session is to start networking, start reaching places where you can interact. And networking right now is not essentially, I would say, required. You need to be in a room to network. You can network on LinkedIn as well. So if you don't already have your profile on LinkedIn created, so that you are able to network with as many professionals. So this is one of the key lessons that I learned, which I would say I used to, as lawyer, underestimate. Okay. Weber was asked that, ma'am, what would be ideal gaining some professional experience first, then pursuing LLM or completing LLM before gaining experience? This is a very, very good question. I was also very, very caught up with this question during my LLM journey. And what I feel is that if you know what you want to do right after your LLB, say if um, arbitration is something that you're very clear about, that you've done a lot of arbitration related internships already, and you have sufficient exposure with regard to arbitration, and you feel the need that I need to do my LLM in arbitration itself, then I feel that you can definitely go ahead and because you know already what you want to do with your LLM degree. But if you are a little unclear as to what sort of specialization you want to pursue and you're unclear about the path that you want to take, then I do recommend that spend some time uh, gaining some practical experience and understand what is your interest area, what sort of law is attracting you, and where you want to specialize in. So I would say if you are in that stage right now, Weber, then you should gain some practical experience. Also, a lot of people gather this practical experience so that they can maybe self-fund their own LLMs and make some money before they can go for their LLMs. So if you are at that stage, maybe you can just work for some time. Like I worked for 4 years because I wanted to self-fund, partially self-fund my LLM journey. So maybe you can do that as well. Okay. Gaurav has asked that how would you describe your experience with Cambridge? How was it different from your experience from India? Okay, good question. I would say my Cambridge experience was quite academically challenging. I learned a lot there how to, of course, I knew how to legal research, but to legally research at Cambridge was quite different because of the resources which Cambridge provides. We had access to every possible journal, every possible website which a lawyer seeks. So I was able to engross myself in the research area for the dissertation that I was writing. So the experience was really, really, I would say, I was very rejuvenated with the sort of research I was doing. So it was quite, I would say, quite an interesting experience. And how was it different from India? I would say because Indian education system still somehow focuses on learning rather than understanding. So Cambridge helped me to understand laws in depth by theoretically maybe applying it on the basis of application-based questions, which I do feel that Indian law schools still don't focus on. They focus on your memory more than understanding. So that's how I feel that Cambridge was quite different from my journey back in India. Okay. So there's another question that we have is what is the minimum required CGPA for being selected in top UK law schools, LSE, Cambridge? Okay, so now this is a very interesting question because I do feel that every law school marks you very differently. So if I say that you are securing a 60% in Delhi University and you're securing the same score in a private university, it's quite different, I would say, because DU, as you know, already marks you very strictly. So there's no definite, I would say, bracket CGPA or percentage that you might already be aware of. As I mentioned already, I'll reiterate it again for everybody of you that if you need to be part of Oxford or Cambridge or any top law school in the world, you need to be at least in that 5 to 10% bracket of your class. Like I was the silver medalist of my course, so I was the second in rank. So something of that sort, if you already have, then I would say that you're fine. So I can't say that score 90% in due because I know that the professors, they are not going to mark you that way. So it depends on the college that you are a part of. So again, one interesting point here is that although Cambridge, and that's my personal experience, I can't vouch for it, but I can definitely, as per my experience, say this, that Oxford and Cambridge do look for students within that bracket. But if I talk about London School of Economics, they see students who are overall all-rounders. So if they are, and that's the same for other universities such as King's, Queen's in London, or even for that matter, Imperial College. So all of these universities do look beyond your academic record as well. So if you're a little dicey about your academic score, maybe you can give a shot in these universities as well if you are uncertain whether you'll land up in Oxford or Cambridge. Okay, so that's it. I feel that I've covered all the questions, but if you do have any additional question, feel free to DM me on LinkedIn or write to me here on this, email address. I'll share this slide deck with everybody of you who's there already in the WhatsApp group. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Pankuri. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.